Going here. Da-dee-da, anytime, YouTube, let's go. All right, we are live. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today again on a weekend of this beautiful, somewhat sunny EST time afternoon. If you're in the evening or morning, good morning and good evening to you. This is UDP and me talking about I guess the latest, if not the only, Ghost Recon Breakpoint gameplay trailer out there. I did a little bit of a breakdown in one of my videos, I think last week. Some of the problems I saw, just in terms of just basic gameplay, some story elements, some very nitty gritty stuff that doesn't really concern the game as a whole. I mean, this is very nitpicky stuff in general, but people who are big into military simulations or who like the Ghost Recon series, they say, oh, okay, well, they've obviously improved upon it, but this is what the game was, what I think Wildlands was promised to be, and this is like their next iteration of that. So it's kind of feel like an expansion pack or a DLC or Wildlands 2.0. So it's got that vibe to it, and I have no stake in this. I have no dog in this race, so I'm not like here or there or against it or for it. But I do appreciate simulations. I do like military simulations, and I talk to a whole bunch of people who either love strategy, they love war, they love talking about what would a military operation do, how would that would work. And UDP is very skilled in that as well. That's why I have him around. He informs me on things that I would have no knowledge of, whether it comes from medical combat or actual uh, boots on ground sort of scenarios. So he's going to probably be more informative than I am because I have no idea what's going on in half these videos, but they're fun to watch. I do like seeing the heist scenario. I love the heist scenario storylines where you've got these characters. They're all specialized. They all have a certain role. And they all have a plan. They go A, B, C, and this is what's going to happen. And then, of course, as we all know, in all engagements, the plans get thrown out the door, and they just sort of wing it. So that's part of the fun of this gameplay. If that's part of the storyline, that'd be great. Where everything they plan out is just ruined. I think that'd be fantastic. Like, oh, Plan B, oh, that's not going to work, and then they go to the next mission. Oh, Plan B, not going to work either. It's just this ongoing joke with the military. Every commander is just like, okay, we're going to try this, but we know it's not going to work. It's like, okay. Okay, so this is what, a 13-minute video, 13 minute and a half?
Yeah, it should take us about 3 hours.
Yeah, depending
Well, we're
on.
not doing Mass Effect or anything like that, so we're not just like raging out and getting depressed, are we?
No, we're going to be pretty critical of the simulation aspects, and we're talking about a bunch of spec ops guys running around in the forest of a private island that this rich entrepreneur, like an Elon Musk character, has created. And it's highly mechanized. There's all this automation going, all these drones, and these drones are like committing assassinations, and that's part of the plot. You can't have all these robots running around killing people. And of course, the American government's like, no, no, no. If anyone's going to be running around killing people, it's going to be us. It's not going to be this private company doing it. No, no, we're gonna do it. So that's part of the appeal, I imagine. So let's check it out.
Ghost 1-1, this is Ghost Lee. I'm 2 mics out your location, but I got...
Is that a stamina bar? What exactly is that?
I think it is. It's obviously sprinting, as you would, but you really kind of get an adrenal kick in, really. So, but I guess this idea, once again, for gameplay, you don't want guys infinitely sprinting because no one can sprint forever unless you're a genetic freak,
Well, I gotta go back to Mass Effect. The first game, you had like 2 seconds of sprint, and then you're like, oh. And then
Shepard didn't do cardio.
I know he just couldn't. He had like all those guns on his back the entire time. He's like, I can't do it. Just oh.
Shepard's anaerobic fitness was not great.
And the second game, what was it? It was just.
Well, you could storm for like about 3 seconds or something like that, but it wasn't as quick as Mass Effect 1.
Right, but in the third game, you could just do flips and cartwheels and all sorts of shit.
Oh, yeah. Just ignore your armor, like digging into your neck and all sorts of things. You know, I'm going to be jumping around like a ballerina. Okay, sure, buddy.
Do backflips, like, all right, fine, whatever.
Hey, something bad's on my ass. Rally on me to eliminate the threat.
Copy, Ghost Lead. I'm en route to ERP. Time now.
Now, if I'm running around in the water, wouldn't that attract a lot of attention and visually, like you'll be able to see it a lot better because there's a guy who's splashing around?
Well, not only that, you're also slowing yourself down. You're tiring yourself out unnecessarily.
Okay, so this is a bad idea. It's a good idea if dogs are chasing you, but it's a bad idea.
No, that's actually a myth.
It's a myth, really?
Yeah, that's...
Dogs will hunt you down no matter what.
Yes.
Okay.
If it's a tracker dog, yeah, you are boned, pretty much.
Okay.
But these guys don't actually use dogs in any capacity, so they're all drone tech. So
right, so it doesn't really matter. They could just hover about like 2 meters off the ground and just look at you. He's right here.
Yeah.
So now his pants are all wet. His boots are all wet. He's got like extra 5 kilos on him or whatever water weight. So he's slowing down.
Yeah. And plus as well, if you're being injured, it's not a good idea to basically go into muddy waters. I'm assuming this is a jungle, which is one of the most worst environments you can actually go into because it's just horrible.
All the bacteria going into your wounds. Yeah.
Malaria, parasites, all sorts of things, insects. It's everyone wants to eat you and kill you when you're in the jungle. This is why the Yanks use a lot of napalm. That's the reason. They were just like, no, not that. Just get rid of it.
See, now he got shot from behind him. I thought he was running away, like toward, but not behind. So I don't know what's going on. It's strange what angle he's being. Like if I knew that, then I'd be like, okay, dude, you gotta watch your behind the entire time, and get around areas, take lots of what's the word, diagonal lines, like just keep going behind brush. But he went in a straight line, one diagonal.
Yeah, there is actually because this guy. Sorry, since this guy was on the run, there is actually a tick that SF guys do use. You'll have on like your belt order. You'll have like enough things to survive for about a day or so. What the guys do, if those guys are on your arse, which they pretty much are, they will basically unhook the backpack, and then they'll run as fast as they can, and that in that backpack will actually be a claymore, and then they'll run, and then they'll just go clack, and then it'll just cause a distraction. If it kills guys, great. If not, it causes a bit of a screen for the guy to get that additional meters to get away from, and it also sheds a lot of weight, so the guy can run even quicker.
Now that's obviously not on every pack of every Special Forces guy to...
if they were doing that kind of long range stuff, pretty much they would go, dump it, leg it.
It's pretty useless if you're trying to run away from people, yeah. So holding on to, was it 60 pounds at least of gear?
It depends, actually. Sometimes the average guy, like it depends on the operation. I mean, I'm going to work in kilos here, but if you got your standard fighting order, which is going to be about 25 kilos, then you got your webbing, your rifle, and your helmet, and your body armor. But when the guys were out in Afghanistan in particular, they were carrying up to maybe 140 pounds, 150 pounds. But that's because the stuff that they were doing out there was very different to what these guys would be doing. So it depends on the environment and where you're actually going into. Would you base your gear around that?
And these are pure combat. This is not medical. This is not tech. This is not engineering, warfare.
It's long-range reconnaissance, basically.
Yeah, you're a bunch of scouts.
Yeah, as what most of the... I'm assuming these are... Because the Ghosts are based around Green Berets. So that's what those guys kind of do. They go in behind enemy lines. They work with locals. They do that kind of things.
Mm-hmm. So this seems like a really stupid idea. Just suddenly start firing muzzle flash. It just bad idea. I can't even see his target. Like, he's just firing blind. It's just not a good idea.
Yeah, don't speak in, turning around, being stationary them out of the open like that, you're gonna get good. You're just gonna be like, bleh.
Like this, he's pretty much dead. Yeah. So
Yeah, you would get into a much more better position. If you're wounded and whatnot, you try and get yourself into a better advantageous position to basically get them into a kill zone. So if he was like leading them into a kill zone, like they're thinking, oh, he's wounded, he's going stuff, and then he turns around and just goes clack, 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 and then those guys all drop. It's like, yeah, he's basically made them overconfident.
yeah, so. If he turned a corner and it was like a mountainside and it was just one giant plane, he would just walk down it and he would just keep looking back to see if anyone's coming across that. Be like, all right, yeah, it's a clear shot. But this is like the forest. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you can't even see the enemy. Like, I'm just looking at the video right now. It's just like, oh, like, the only thing that you could go off by is enemy muzzle flashes. So you kind of like have to shoot when they shoot, which is not good.
Right, and of course the video game rendition of bullets is like tracer rounds. Like everything's a tracer round.
Yeah, yeah. Not that many rifles actually have tracers on them.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, it depends. Sometimes your section commander would have. It depends, but some guys usually have it at the bottom of the mag, or sometimes they kind of go, "Yeah, watch my tracer." So, you know.
But in this case, every bullet is a tracer round. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
a little too much. Except for you. So. So yeah, they're introducing ideas of status ailments or kinds of conditions like sickness, tiredness, hunger. It adds to the survival aspect. I don't know how that impacts gameplay, but that was at least one element where it just slows you down for a second.
It might affect things like aiming drift, cone of fire, things like that.
Right.
Might affect other senses as well. Like you heard the sound going a little bit away there. They get like that tetanus there. So
yeah, they'll probably do that with flashbangs too, where it just this big blast and just buzzing in your ears.
I also like the amount of rounds going past your ear and whatnot. The crack as it goes above your head will kind of make you go about ow, especially if there's grenades and RPGs going off next to you. So
yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah, if it was like explosions or someone firing a gun close by.
Yes, some with a light machine gun going off. Like, oh god,
that would deafen you. Yeah, that would definitely screw up your the sound. So,
well, actually, a lot of guys today, not sure about the Yanks, but what we have is it's like a kind of fluid that they inject into the rear, and it's basically just an ear protector, but it's designed for your ear specifically. So, you know, you can still obviously use your radio and things like that, but if things are reached above a certain, you know, threshold, it will cancel out that or try and block it. You know, so those guys are probably wearing that kind of stuff as well,
as opposed to wearing mufflers or any other types of ear stuff. Okay, cool.
You can also put the iPod headphones in there as well. They're pretty cool.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, it seems like he's like out in the open. It's like, what are you doing? You're gonna get shot.
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah, he's been shot several times. I think he's in exquisite pain right about now. Just showing off his. What gameplay is this from? I'm trying to think. What game?
Well, it's Mass Effect 3 when he loses his entire epidermal layer when he slides down the. A lot of games have actually used this before to obviously get into this, but.
See, this reminded me, if you're going to do an element like this, it's in the future. Well, it's not really in the future. I keep remembering Tribes 2, where they introduced the skiing mechanic of having a jump jet. So, and you could actually ski around the entire levels based off certain tracks that the gamers figured out. Obviously, it's not in this game, but that's one thing I was looking for in Andromeda, that if you're going to have a jump jet, can you incorporate that with exploration? And because they had a car or a dune buggy, that was like, okay, we don't really need to do that because this thing's like twice or 3 times as fast to bother with all this jetting. But the thing is, in Tribes 2, you had fuel, so it had to replenish itself. So you couldn't go so far. So you had to conserve it. You had to use it moderately. But in this case, you're just falling down a hill. Obviously, you can't fire while falling. This is a purely escaping maneuver. You're not. It's not a tactical solution. It's just you gotta run away. So this is like a Lara Croft scenario. Only you're not like you don't have rocks in your leg and arrows through your neck. You just
you're not going to get impaled on something
right
spiky.
Exactly.
Oh, that is not good.
Yeah, if he just got a buzzing in his head or a ringing in his ears, he is now in exquisite pain. So keep in mind, he just came from a height, so there's guys at the top of that hill, just like, oh, there he is. Easy shot.
Yeah, where's the tracking force in this? Like, they were right on his tail, and they could probably see him. Like, they should be right above the hill going, yeah, there he is, and they should be putting rounds down on him.
Pew, pew, pew. Yeah,
yeah.
Pretty easily. So is he hiding behind the tree because he's expecting them from the other side? That's smart. Although you should keep moving, but still, So here we have the Metal Gear Solid 3 bandage wrap going on. It just instantly happened. Don't know. I thought he got shot in the torso, but apparently it was just a flesh wound on his arm there.
It looks like a generic healing animation.
Yeah,
really.
You got hit, just heal yourself, wrap some crap around your arms, and get going.
Yeah, it's not area specific or anything like that. So he'll probably do one on his leg as well, I reckon. Yeah, just put that over your wet clothing there, mate. Just don't do anything else.
No brace. Yeah, no removal of a bullet, no antiseptic. Just wrap it.
Yeah, just keep that wet, bogging piece of fabric up against that bullet hole wound there. Don't bother trying to sterilize it or anything like that. Just use a bandage. Don't use any kind of Silex gauze or anything like that.
It just fills with blood. Yeah, it all just gets red because it was a wound. So it's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. This is good. He's clotting, no problem. Just piece of cake.
I mean, really, as well, when you do your bandaging, you do like your sterilite bandaging, or in this case, you can use a Silex gauze to basically, that's like got a hemostatic agent in it, basically to help cauterize, and then you basically put a pressure bandage around that as well. That'll keep it nice and clean as well. So it's kind of a dual action thing.
Right. You see that a lot in basic first aid kits, really. It's just a roll.
Yeah. it's
pretty standard stuff. He just wrapped some fabric around it. He's like, all right, let's go. This is the ever generic health injection.
Morphine injector, which you do in your leg. Not well, you can do it in your arm, I guess, but we do it in your leg because there's a bigger artery there. But
it's your Metagel. You just shoot it in your leg. You're good.
Yeah, you just it's got like 2 pints of blood in that little vial there. You just it's got muscle regenerated. It's like a thermal it's like that thing from Star Trek. The thing that basically removes injuries and things. The dermal regenerator.
Dermal regenerator, yeah.
Yeah, it's just that.
You got a cut, zip, no problem. So by this time, they should have caught up by now, because this is like 30 seconds. Yeah.
By the way, all these guys are going, "We are not here." Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be shouting down the microphone. Sorry, but it's like they wouldn't be doing that. They'd just be on their comms going, "Yeah, the guy went down here. He's in, grid. If we're in grid reference such and such, we assume he went, let's say, southbound and things like that. We're in pursuit." That's what you do. You wouldn't be blaring away your
Yeah.
position.
You would have radios. You'd be talking specifically in a closed circuit. You wouldn't be broadcasting by screaming at everyone. No.
I mean, the only other way is if, because once again, because let's assume that these are, obviously US military. The only other way is if, let's say, he's got some kind of ECM on him, which is a jammer. So if he's blocking radio signals, then they would have to use talking, really, if they aren't within hand signal, which would be actually interesting if, let's say, they go tactical and they're like doing the whole, like, shubba Jedi mind tricking, you know.
Yeah, and let's keep in mind, remember, he wasn't using a silencer. So
Yeah.
this is not what you want to do. You don't want to start firing
standard
rounds in a
Yeah, which is
forest.
standard issue for these kind of guys.
Right.
Because contrary to popular belief, silencers or suppressors, whatever you want to call them, they do not actually impact the velocity of the bullet. So they don't change anything about it.
Right. And there's different silencers for military use as well as not civilian use, but what the general populace are allowed to buy, depending on what state you're in the States, or regardless of what military group. I know that because I had friends who were riflemen in the Canadian Armed Forces, and there's like, yep, you get this, and this is how this works. And they're pretty much illegal in general. But the ones you get, they're about, like, if you were to, the ones that I knew were legal in the States, if you were to put them on your average handgun or average rifle, they are about as loud as a sledgehammer or a one of those gas powered, what are they called? Jackhammers. So they're pretty freaking loud, and a gun is already hugely loud, so it doesn't do much. And those are safety reasons, and it's not so much of a silencer in civilian use, but that's what the Americans, or at least certain states, have allowed people to buy. So a little different for the military. Military, it's silent.
Take cover. There's an Azrael drone overhead.
Copy that. Got it.
So there's the cutscene button where they just, change the camera POV, and oh, there's a cutscene. Boom, here it is.
Just pray that drone doesn't have any thermals on it.
Or anything. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What is this thing even doing? We're not sure. And there's this giant cable just hanging, whatever this is. Who knows?
Well, I laugh at it actually be a zip line.
Yeah, I was thinking, this guy just running down.
It's like,
Hi.
It just zip lines down, like whee.
Really good water effects. Looks beautiful. But again, this guy's all cut up, so probably not a good idea to run around in the water.
Yeah, it's just like a massive leech just like hanging on him. It's like, ah. Now, that would actually be an interesting dynamic in terms of keeping your position unawares, in terms of you have to be aware not just of the enemy's position, but also wildlife. Because if, let's say, the birds aren't tweeting or the animals are running away, that's going to be an indicator for the hunter force that's behind. They're going to be like, right, there, he's going to be in that grid.
Right. You see a flock of seagulls or sparrows just fly off. You're like, okay, what the heck was that? It's pretty obvious. But I don't know about deer. Deer are kind of elusive in the first place. Maybe coyotes, they're loud. Maybe bears. I'm trying to think of what would actually be noticeable. So an eagle, maybe? An eagle could fly off. They're pretty noticeable. It's hard to say. Yeah, but wildlife is definitely a cool aspect of keeping hidden in the jungle or the forest. See, this is what he should have been doing, running around trees. Like that would have made more sense. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, dude, you just keep doing what you were doing. Just keep running. Don't stop. Just like, what are you trying to do?
Ghost Lead, this is Ghost 1-2. We're en route to your location.
Okay.
See, doing that is stupid. Like, let's start crawling on the ground. Like, it would slow you down. So it makes no sense.
I mean, if you really want to crawl, you can do like an inch crawl. It's literally like you're literally moving like half an inch. You're slowly raising up and then moving forward. You know, 'cause if you're making any sudden movements, the eye will pick it up instantly. But this is a game, so you don't want to be like too like hyper realistic or anything like that. You don't want to be like, you know, getting sniped from like 500 meters.
Yeah, but there has to be some basics for these sorts of maneuvers, and I do like the fact that they have them, like going prone or crawling or rolling around. Like, I like those aspects because that's what people would do in a survival scenario. It's just, would you do them at this point in time? Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, this would be actually good if let's say this was a kind of like the movie, and you're actually trying to run away from the predator, and you have to like, you know, put yourself up in mud. And it's like a temporary camouflage. That'd be nice. That'd be cool. I'd like that.
It would be, yeah, if they had thermal optics and you have to disguise yourself because you're using a goddamn t-shirt. And you're like, I can't do anything else. I have no leaves.
Yeah.
Got to cover myself in something.
I got eyes on you, Ghost Lead.
Copy. I see you.
Where did these guys come from? They just popped up from in front of him? Like, what the hell? They totally missed him?
Did they hit the spawn trigger?
Yeah, it's like, they're right behind me. No, they're in front of you. I was like, what?
3 bad guys closing from the rear.
Nothing to report. Gonna
Yeah,
continue.
these guys come out of freaking nowhere. They're the ghosts, okay? We're a schmuck in a t-shirt. These guys are like instantly on your location as soon as you stop moving for 2 seconds. And they didn't hear you. They didn't see you.
Oh, yeah. If you see mud, you basically see where he's like trailed off because it's like, I think a human's been crawling here.
Yeah, there's this giant body stretch across 10 meters. It's like, yeah, he's here.
I mean, mind you, we can't see anything because he's in that flipping Ku Klux Klan hood there.
It's pretty. It's like, yeah, we can't. We just don't know. We have no idea. We just went so far ahead. We just totally missed.
That guy must be absolutely hot as balls and all that. If this is anywhere, if that guy is in his t-shirt and stuff like that, then
Yeah.
that guy must be sweating it out.
Kevlar
Yeah.
layers, all sorts of other body plates. Like, who knows what else he's got on there?
Yeah, that's not going to be comfortable.
No.
Search.
Yeah, it looks like a giant dress or something. Yeah,
It looks like a poncho.
maybe.
Like, if it's obviously expecting rain, then yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
One of those
weather gear and
all-terrain
things like that.
weather gear. Yeah.
But the problem with those is in this kind of environment is that because it's kind of a Gore-Tex material, it makes a lot of noise. So you wouldn't use it. You only use that if you're in a static location. So that's basically in your general harbour area.
Right.
You get wet. Then you have your basically in your ruck, you'll have your dry kit, and obviously that's when you get into your dry kit. You get all nice and dry. And then obviously you have to get out of that dry kit and then back into your wet kit when you go out. You know, so fun.
Toning for location. You have hostiles on my right.
Copy. On target.
This seems like a bad idea, but again, we're the badass Ghost Recon leader, so we can take 3 at once. Of course you can.
That was just unnecessary, you know.
That was very loud, apparently, and yeah.
Well, if you just like sliced some guy's neck, you don't need to kind of jam it home. You just basically need to pull him back and then cover some leaves on him. And just, but the other problem as well is just that you're just taking out a member of a patrol. That patrol is going to notice very quickly that he's missing, you know. So
Yeah, you're watching your buddies as you're patrolling. You're not just looking ahead of you. You're checking back every 5 seconds. You're like, okay, what's going on? I guess he really wanted to kill this guy because we don't have time to waste. We gotta go, go, go. We're Americans, man. We got there's things to do, people to see. Like, what are you shooting at?
Die, trees! Die, nature!
I don't know. I thought the guy was in front of him.
Ghost Lead, we're set.
I'm bringing the fight to you. Be ready.
That running animation's just... That's like a PS2 running animation.
It's a bit awkward, but it's hard to see because it's third person and his back is yeah.
Well, really, you just have the weapon in one hand and then you drive with your... Really. Or you kind of like sling it. You know, you wouldn't be running with both hands. I mean, it's... I guess if you want to kind of like... I don't know, it's a bit awkward to tell. But it's just a bad animation, really. It's like, I'm just going to be using my hip flexes to forward. He's really using those glutes for forward momentum.
And here his team is already... Like, his team was just down the other side of the hill. It's like, what? Why did you rush?
Yeah,
Just...
Thanks, assholes.
Yeah. What the hell were you guys doing all this time? How the heck did that guy in the third enemy who was at the top of the hill, how did he not see these guys? Didn't he come around the hill or around?
What about the drone noticing the vehicle right there?
It's like we have these pieces on the board and they're like, we have no idea where everything is. We just can't see anything in front of us. All this technology, all this gear is like, no, we have no idea.
Get set, guys! Good cover. Bravo team will set a diversion at the gate. Me and 1-1 will infill the camp through the rear.
Copy.
I'm kind of curious how this all worked out because he was the leader and he was behind all these guys. He must have been behind them because they had a freaking car. So why did they do that? Why did they all arrive differently? It doesn't make too much sense. But
Yeah. I mean, it looks like they might have just, if they got headed into this island or whatnot, you know, if the jump went wrong and they all scattered like 100 or so meters away from, which can happen. But I'm just kind of going into a assume thing because there's different types of insertion. You've got Halo and Hey-Ho, you know, high altitude, low opening, and high altitude, high opening. So, you know, it depends on what they've used really and how far they're actually going to get. But most of the time, usually kind of regroup together. You're not going to be like landing. You're not going to be like a Liam from Andromeda where he goes like, whoa, you know. It's like, because you're traveling like what, 400 miles per hour, and you just like, it's like 2 meters behind you. You're just like, okay, buddy.
I use my jump jets. I'm fine.
Yeah, I like the bit actually. You have to like pull it. It's like, hey, bit of hand here. It's just like, dude, you got a jump jet. Move your lazy.
Yeah, nice, extremely loud dune buggy in a forest. Yeah. It's nice and stealth.
I got 2 armed hostiles here.
Right. Okay. His position is really, really bad. Right, because he's on that thing. His silhouette's going to be mad. You know, see, he'll be spotted like he'll be like a little duckling in the sight. So
Yeah, maybe if he went prone and didn't go that far onto the ledge and then crawled to the edge of the ledge, maybe. Yeah.
I don't think there's much of the old Ghost Recon, which I know they're kind of more based this off the Division, which is fine, I guess. You know, it's kind of one of those. No, I don't. I guess some people don't want the Division to be infecting, if that's a good word. Ghost Recon. They want Ghost Recon to be Ghost Recon. You know, who knows?
3, 2, 1.
Push up.
See, he had a really good shot with a sniper rifle, and this guy had a scoped rifle, but it wasn't like the magnification was not as obviously not as good, and he did a further away shot. And it's like, okay, he's a really good shot.
Yeah, you've just hit a guy that looks like what, about 140 meters away and you just use that with a hollow sight. It's like, okay.
It's like, wow.
This guy's a machine. You know?
He is literally a machine. He gets shot, he just bandages his legs up. He's taking simple aim shots from at least 100 meters, 150. Yeah, it's pretty far. And he has all these guys around him, and he never called for help. He's like, "Yeah, I'll beat you. Don't worry about it."
A better shot would have been if, let's say, the sniper waited for them to be in a line, and then he shot them, and the round just went straight through both. That'd be cool.
That would have been a little over the top, but
Hey, it happened. It can be done. In actual fact, it had been done.
if he has a really high caliber bullet, then yes, I would agree. That would work.
Yeah, most sniper rifles are usually 7.62 and above. I mean, typically, you know, if these guys are the SF guys, which obviously they are, but I don't know why I keep saying that, they would probably be using a 338, which would definitely go through a few people. So, yeah.
Whee!
Yeah, there.
It's a slide. Woo!
We have a sliding thing in our game. It's great.
Yeah. Maybe you should like hide the car, like camouflage it somewhere, cover it in leaves. No, okay.
They won't be expecting the civilian car in the military operation.
What's a dune buggy doing in the forest? I have no idea.
Sponsored by Monster Energy?
What? This is totally normal.
Oh, those elbows. It's like elbows, Nigel. Elbows. Look at.
He's got like 100 pounds on his back. He's pretty much breaking his spine right now. He's just running like mad. I always, when I watched Metal Gear Solid 5 or when I played Peace Walker or any of those other kind of games, you see that crazy crouch that Snake does. And it makes sense if you're sneaking and going slowly and you don't have like a massive backpack. In this case, these guys are like bolting and they're just like, what are you doing with all this weight on your spine? You're going to last 5 seconds before you faint.
Yeah. I mean, plus as well, if the once again, it depends on the kind of mission, but typically they wouldn't be in a heavy body armor either. In actual fact, they would probably ditch their armor because you really wear that if you know you're going to be in a massive firefight. But for these kind of guys, they'd probably just be wearing their plate carriers. They wouldn't be wearing the soft plates as well. So, you know, it's mission dependent. So, for those who don't know, plate carriers is just basically your trauma plates. So, the things that can stop bullet, but you know, the other parts of your body are going to be more exposed to like shrapnel and other ricochets and things like that. I'd laugh if the gate was open right next to them. You know, or like, it reminds me of Hot Shots Part 2 when he's like climbing over the fence. It's like 2 foot high.
Well, I believe this scene just because I've talked to people who actually had fence cutters. I don't think they were plasma torches, but the speed was pretty much butter. You just like rip right through. And this looks like sheet metal or basic tin. So whether it's a torch or whether it's a blade or scissors or whatever, it would cut through it pretty easily. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's no biggie. It's just a nice little touch, really, isn't it? Although the amount of noise, you'd basically cut off a panel. You wouldn't ease it off because you don't want to be making noise as you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Plus as well, but that you'll catch your clothes.
Exactly, yeah, because there's these giant forks now sticking out of the ground there. You don't want to catch your legs. They're full of water, wet pants. It's like, yep, that would tear. So.
Drones out.
Right. One of the things that always bothers me in these games is this crouch run thing. It's like it it's hard to do that when you're with all that gear. That would blow out your knees. You know, it's crouching is a very slow moving thing. Really, you can't run while you're crouching with all that gear on you. It's, I mean, you can kind of hobble if you really want to, but you don't do that.
I think this would be rather noticeable. Like, I don't know how big the drone is, but if, you're in the open forest, it's like, okay, what's that up in the sky? It's a drone. Is it one of ours? No. Oh, shit. What do we do?
Yeah.
Shoot it down? Go to alerts? Like something.
Well, if the enemy are using drones as well, then you have to have the ability that they can monitor what you're doing. You know, there's a lot of kind of like everybody's got the technology, but no one's got the means to counter it, which is daft because whenever the military designs something, they bring up the means to defeat it in case someone else gets it.
Yeah, and if you look at the cutscene or the FMV or whatever you called the video showcasing the game, the whole thing starts about there's this huge army of drones and they have guns. So
Yeah.
there would be drones that could attack other drones at least.
Yeah, I mean, actual fact, I think the Yanks are developing something that fits on the end of the rifles that fires out like a electromagnetic pulse or something, and it basically just shoots down a drone. You know, so
They're no wolves, but they got numbers. Bravo team, have eyes in your position.
Hey, there's the silencer. Just finally, just took him like a second. Just like, yeah, just turn it on.
it's like, oh right, I've got this thing. Sorry,
I should use this. This is a good idea.
I'm a ghost, but I'm a spooky ghost. Boo!
You can't hear me now. Jeez. See, that's cool. That was spooky. I was like, whoa. Shoot him in the neck. Gone. All right, good. Thing is, you could still hear the gun go. I thought it would be click click as opposed to
Um, depends on the environment, really. I mean, most ones are pretty good, you know. But yeah, sometimes you can actually, it doesn't like fully mash them up. It depends on the caliber, obviously. If like you're dealing with like an MP5 or something, then literally just hear the bullet going like that. But because that's a 5.56 rifle, it'll be a bit louder. But plus as well, this is actually a problem with the third person view that I've always had with, is that your panning left is always going to be easier because of where the camera is actually situated. But panning right, on the other hand, is going to be an absolute nightmare because you're going to be a nice face full of wool, you know. So while your body, your sweet supple body, is going to be like, hello, I'm exposed, your camera view is just like, nice upholstery. I like the curtains.
Right.
So,
Plus, he's not really looking around him. He's just sort of whatever he can see with that right side of the screen. So the fact that the guy popped up from the left is kind of like that one of those XCOM moments where you just spin around like, oh my god, there's an alien right next to me. It's like, oh yeah, there is.
yeah,
Look.
point blank range, 44% chance to hit.
Oh no. I didn't even see the wall sensor, but okay, cool.
Yep, just keep that gun exposed right there. You know,
This guy
it's
comes
not
out
like
of
anyone can see. Yeah,
he comes out of nowhere. It's like, where did you come from, man?
I'm a ghost. Ah!
Yeah, I don't think his sniper rifle is going to be too great in those sort of room to room scenarios.
Yeah, what they would normally have is, I mean, truth be told, snipers don't usually carry a lot of ammunition on them for obvious reasons. They usually have like a backup rifle for them. It's usually obviously as Americans, it's going to be like a carbine, sorry, or something like that. You know, but since gaming's gaming, it's like a sniper rifle is going to be a primary weapon all the way. So to hell with whatever the guys are actually going to be using comfortably. I mean, sniper rifles would actually be classed as a specialist weapon and gaming purposes, and then you'd have like a primary.
Makes sense. Yeah.
I like the way how that guy is supposed to be the sniper, but he isn't all cammed up or anything like that. He doesn't wear a brimmed hat or anything, or a boonie as you Yanks type. You know, he's not wearing any kind of other camo, so his head is just like he's just a walking bush with a head on it.
Yeah.
It's like, good job on the camo there, mate.
And he's walking through a industrial building,
yeah,
wooden white.
That plant pot's really gotten out of hand.
It's like maybe you should change your gear. Just take off a layer and just go like walking bush is probably not the best scenario to look like. Nice jungle rain shower going in the daytime. Looks cool.
I think this is more. Is this like more of a swampy kind of? Because
I think
like
so. Yeah, like definitely deciduous and coniferous trees here, but yeah, it feels like a swampy jungle sort of scenario. Lots of humidity.
Because I was really thinking that this was going to be in a kind of like Philippine Islands kind of thing, because that would be more remote and why someone could own this. But this looks like it's like something out of the Yanks' backyard. It's like, hi Jim. What? We just let them own this stuff. Like,
we're off the coast of Florida. There's some minor island here or there we bought.
Yeah, it's did like the quarantine Florida and they sold it off to some private military contractor or something. That's where all the crazies live.
All the seasteaders who are like billionaires who made their fortune in Silicon Valley, and they decided to revolutionize how drones kill people. I don't know.
Yeah.
3 hostiles. That's an Alpha drone.
Did you say that's an Alpha stroke?
Alpha's drone.
Oh, Alpha's drone. Okay. This doesn't seem too difficult. You have 4 guys. You have 1 sniper, and that guy could make a shot from 100, 200 meters. Shouldn't be that hard.
Stand by. Ghost lead to initiate.
Heavy spotted.
You never peek over walls. You never do that.
It looks very without a helmet. I mean, it just looks like a bad idea.
Well, you're just exposing yourself, and more of your helmet's going to be like saying peekaboo. I mean, plus, well, like you're running up towards that thing, so her backpack was actually going to be a little higher than the actual wall itself. You'd crawl up to there, really.
Well, most SWAT teams that I've talked to, that well, because we cut, what was it, the show we cut in Toronto, The Wire, I think it gets shot in Toronto, and I had a few people who worked on set, and they were saying they have all this tactical gear. There's all these specialists come in. They talk about breaching maneuvers and all the little gadgets they have. They're not really complicated, but it's like how you test for if a door is booby trapped. The mirrors you use, the parabolic ones, they have all these little gadgets for little, very, very specific scenarios that you wouldn't know of because these things they don't get televised or talked about. So they do have mirrors for all sorts of things, and parabolic sensors. They have these microphones for listening in, lots of spy gadgetry, but they're all like 2-second usage. It's like, oh, okay, great, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, I remember actually I used to play SWAT 4. You could have like the fiber optic, so you could actually like peek through doors or use it around corners and things like that. It's a smaller profile. You don't have to use any of your body, and it's nice and compact as well. Right. So you wouldn't be using your Mark 1 eyeball right there. You'd be using something else.
Yeah. So. They have all these thermal lasers to check what's going on far away or through a window. Like it'd be all this wonderful stuff to detect. So in this case, obviously they're in the wilderness, so they don't need it, but there are tools out there. So I was expecting SEAL teams or Green Berets to have at least something.
Well, they got drones. It's like, come on, guys, you can't pack that in as well.
Drones are pretty high tech, so they should have
Well, actually, we sorry, interrupt you. We do actually have a drone about the size of your free thing that you can actually use to go around and you can observe it.
The problem is they're still pretty freaking loud, and
these ones aren't actually.
Really?
Pretty quiet. Yeah, they're pretty quiet because they use the Doppler effect to actually mask themselves. At least some of them do, anyway. At least that's when. Oh no, sorry, that's helicopters that use that to mask their approaching sound. Sorry. It's
Yeah, bad idea.
that's the oh no, I've just made a terrible mistake.
I'm going to slowly crawl upon this man. It's like,
I
no.
don't think he's seen me yet.
I'm not going to speed up my advance quietly. I'm going to really slow down my advance quietly. Okay.
Foot. Oh.
And none of these guys have silencers, just so you know. Everyone else does not have a silencer. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Damn, there's nothing here either. Nothing ever happens around here.
Now, was that a bad takedown? I think it was kind of complicated. Like, you didn't have to hit him in the net leg. Hopefully he fell down forward, and then you jump his neck. It was like, just stand up. Just grab him by the neck. Just done.
Yeah, I mean, if anything of Christopher Lee, because obviously he used to do a couple of ops in World War II. He used to say that when you stab someone, they don't actually make much of a noise because it's a sudden exhalation of air. You kind of go, ah, like that, so they don't actually make much noise. And that's when you can actually, that initial shock, you can
Right,
drag them back and
but
finish
you'd
them
want
off.
to target the neck and mouth first. You wouldn't want to, like, if you shot a guy in the leg, that'd make a lot of noise.
Yeah.
He would scream, you know, and he's on the microphone, or he's on the wire.
Yeah,
So
he's on the radio.
Yeah, kind of not a good idea to do all these extra maneuvers just to silence him quiet. It's like, just go for that freaking mouth.
Yeah, it reminds me of Payday 2, when you could actually, like, if you take out a guard with a radio, you had to, like, basically call it in, because there'd be a kind of like, hey, what's going on here? We're doing a radio check here. So, you know, you have to, like, kind of pretend to be the dude, which would be kind of interesting. You know, like a voice modulator ability, like it's a gadget. That'd be kind of cool.
Instead of collecting skulls, you'd be collecting radios. So every time they
Yeah.
page you, it's like, oh, yep, right here. Yep, everything good.
Everything's good. Everything's fine. How are you? I think it'd be good.
Yeah, you'd have 8 radios on your chest. You'd be like, which one's? Oh, this one. Okay, good.
I think as well, though, that I think these ghosts are actually using the principle of if we kill everyone, then we aren't seen.
Right. Yeah, they're trying to
So-
eliminate everyone, pretty much.
It's-
Where's the military? They're throughout the entire facility. Okay, well, we just have to kill everyone in the facility.
yeah, we won't be seen then. Mission accomplished. It's like we were never seen by anyone in the complex.
We don't have to like dress up as a scientist or a developer. We just keep going. So now there's 3 guys left, or sorry, there's 3 on the roof. There's a drone. There's a heavy.
It's like I have a minigun.
Yeah, I think
The
he's
guy that-
the heavy. Yeah. I don't know what the hell they're expecting to have a minigun, but holy crap!
But that guy's only got about 2 seconds of ammunition. Because those things fire around about, what, 4,000, 6,000 RPM.
Yeah.
So he's going to be like, contact! Right, I'm going to be running away now, lads. Good luck. It's like, just going to be dumping his gear.
So all these bullets fly. It's like, oh, we're done.
In sight.
What is he doing? If he's got a box magazine, then why doesn't he have extra magazines? Why is he manually reloading the magazine? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, look what he aims for. This is what really confuses me.
I have the drone.
Like, why are you aiming for the drone? Like, who cares?
Yeah,
Does it have guns on it or something? Like, is that the point?
it's the drone that killed his father
Oh, okay.
and his parents. You know, he became drone man, the anti-drone.
Drone's out.
Woo! Look at this thing go! Within 1 second, it flew like 50 meters
I know, right? It's like,
sideways.
What did he give it? Did he give it like Duracell or something?
And now he has a second drone. It's like, whoa. So he has 2. He's controlling 2 drones. Like, what the? He had a third one before, or the first one was just like really slow, which made some sense. But now it's like, pop it off your jacket and woof, off it goes to Wonderland.
How many of these things you got? It's like, how many do you need?
So this chick, she has red dot systems. So there's some sort of, what is it, satellite control? I don't know what red dot exactly works, but there's obviously a different system for.
What are you talking about? You're talking about the sight system that she's using, or is she going to call some?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I'm assuming it's just a laser, but.
Oh no, that's right. Okay, that's just a little dot that's actually on the. That looks like an aim point, and it's just basically just a dot web, so you don't need to use your iron sights. They're mostly used for close quarters.
Okay.
So I mean, you can still use your iron. Yeah, I mean, they're just kind of a replacement. I mean, most of the time, if once again these guys are SF, they would be using ACOGs really, or Elcan spec, or something like ×4 or something like that. And then they'll have a little RRR dot that's mounted on top of it for close quarter battles. So they'll have a dual sight, so they'll have that.
Ghost lead. We're set.
Okay.
I think he missed. I don't know what happened there. Just go back to that. Was he aiming? Like, what was going on?
Just fire the AT, just fire an anti-tank missile at something, anti-tank rocket, sorry.
Drones out.
Ghost lead. We're set.
Let's move.
I did not see that hitbox. I don't know what she was aiming at, but it worked.
Quick and quiet.
Where the hell are they? These guys are dead. All right, let's find these hostiles. Take point. I'm right behind you.
Bravo team. We have hostiles inbound your location.
See, he had 2 shots to make, and he just says, "Bravo team, you got hostiles coming." And it's like, just shoot them. They're right there. Save them the trouble.
Eyes open, boys. We have enemy moving in the area. Over here, I see him. Hit the target.
Wow. Missiles for infantry. That's amazing. I don't know what's going on
It might
here.
just be an RPG, but yeah, it's a bit.
If that was an RPG, she'd have shrapnel going through her legs. So I don't know what's going on. But that's cool. It's a game. We'll just treat it as a fun explosion shooting game thing.
It's not so much Ghost, it's like, I mean, really, you kind of want the action to be kind of ramping up in a more of an oh dear moment. Like everything's converging on you. Like, oh crap, the Hunter Force and the Quick Reaction Force is coming down on you. It's going to be like fudge cakes, and it's like you have to get out of this moment to survive.
Yeah, they're going towards the danger. They're not escaping. So they're not retreating from the scenario. And remember, the scenario was 3 guys, a drone, and a heavy. So remember, she eliminated the fourth guy, or the 5th guy, whatever it was, with a crazy takedown. So, curious what's going on, because obviously there's other guys at this location, but we have no idea where they are.
What the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
you just-
where'd he
Hi,
come
Jim.
from? This guy just standing around. Yeah, there's a firefight. Hey, what's going on? Don't know. Headbutt, drops her gun, does this crazy roll maneuver, and oh, gun just appeared out of nowhere. Okay. Yeah, we're playing a video game. We gotcha.
Yeah, sorry, I was pressing the awesome button. No other things.
Yeah, and here's this guy's. He's doing another crouch walk. It's like, why are you crouching? There's nothing.
Yeah, you're just gonna be knackering your back in there, and
It's a hallway, buddy. Yeah, there's nothing like. There's no reason to crouch. Just walk or run.
and once again, if that guy's, let's say, got his plate carriers on, he would actually be standing upright, because that would be his larger form of protection. Because if he's standing like that, his head's and shoulders which he's got no arm. So it's like, yeah, if you're gonna get shot, mate, you're gonna be down. You're gonna be brown bread.
Yeah, it's a strange walking scenario, at least, to go through a hallway where there's no reason to crouch. But okay.
I mean, really, you'd actually have your legs down a little bit to keep your profile a little bit low. But that's it. Your body wouldn't actually be. I mean, plus as well. I mean, I'm assuming that this guy's got his plate carriers in, but if he hasn't, then okay, I guess he can do that if he wants to.
It just seems weird. Like, why would you be crouching in a hallway where you don't need to? It just
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
The weapons is past Metal Gear.
That's what it looks like, or some sort of super drone with a freaking chain gun.
That looks like a 20mm, yeah, Gatling gun, minigun, sorry, and that's not going to carry a lot of rounds in it. It's going to have like,
it would need a magazine about the size of itself to
yeah.
to run around in. Yeah.
The A10's only got, I don't know how many seconds worth of fire, but because that thing fires pretty darn quickly. It fires pretty big shells as well, like 30mm. So, yeah. Unless it's just the front component, which would be like, okay, yeah, I'm just judging because I'm being an arse. So.
Stop them in their tracks! I got tango's over here! Fight the forward!
Yeah, just once again, fallacy of grenades and things like that. Grenades are really only designed to be used for room clearing. I mean, you can use them like that if you really want to. They're not that effective at range. I mean, they got like a kill range like 50 meters or so, but they just kind of go poof. So
Yeah, it's mostly loud and shock and make smoke, whatever, destroy whatever piece of object you're targeting, like a wall or a door.
I mean, yeah, you chuck it in a room, you're probably going to kill someone, granted, but you wouldn't really be kind of throwing them like that. I mean, I know it's a computer game and things like that, but it's a bit. They can't really be claiming realism when your character's like just doing one arm throws like that. I mean, really, any range you'd actually be using an underslung grenade launcher than anything else. Mostly for accuracy purposes.
The thing is, you can't even see the targets. You don't know what they're behind. You don't know if you're throwing them over. It's hard to say because usually you throw a grenade at something which is going to disrupt or destroy, and you're throwing it blindly. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, once again, it's. I don't know. I'm just being a bit pedantic here, but because typically speaking, like if you're in these kind of things, you would kind of be saving your grenades. I don't know, really. If he's in a panic situation, then yeah, you'd just be lobbing everything at them. I mean, you would be, but he's like, go away. It's my weekend off, you know. There's actually a guy who actually ran the Victoria Cross like that, a guy from the Black Watch, who after like expending all his ammunition, he expended all his ammunition out of his rifle, machine gun, I think it was a Bren gun, and then he started throwing grenades, and then he started throwing beer bottles at them, you know, at the North Koreans and the Chinese. So he was just like throwing everything at them. And that's how we got the Victoria Cross. He got drunk and just started throwing everything.
All right, this really pissed me off because he just got shot. He obviously took cover, and then 1 second later, he just starts walking really slowly away, out of cover. It's just like, what are you doing?
Building, please. We're almost there.
Move it! Move it! What the hell are you doing? No. I don't want to die. Why are they doing this?
I really wanted to see, again, a Metal Gear Solid reprimand where you grab the guy from behind or drag him, like just something like that. But unfortunately, it's not as detailed as what Kojima did like 10 years ago. So Oh, he's got a smaller gun. Okay, cool.
Hey, you! Eat this!
I think that's a tank or something. Holy crap. Some sort of automated tank, yeah.
It's a drone. It's like, are these people like building Skynet here or something?
It's like mini Skynet. They haven't ramped up the bipeds yet. They're just doing drones.
One's
And,
at T3. Yeah.
yeah. It's version 0.1, yeah.
Yeah, I bet you wish you saved that AT4 now, haven't you there, mate? That sounds like a 50 cal or something.
Boom,
Kind
boom,
of really
boom. Yeah, it's pretty loud.
I'm not sure if it's got to be. Could be if that thing's a 20mm, then he would be in two different places at once.
If it was a 50 cal, there'd be nothing left of him.
Yeah, he'd be just shredded beef, wouldn't he? But no, don't worry, he's going to be fine. So just a flash.
He's hit.
Now, the drone is like literally right next to that whatever chair that is. It's like really, like we just saw it. If you I'll wind it back.
Yeah, it was like right on top of him. Like barely 10 meters to his right there.
There it is, right there, and it can see her. It's not doing anything.
Hit.
She's right there. She's dead.
I got you.
So smoke screen, and now she's gonna do some superhuman lifting here.
Power. I just imagine the thing from like, if anyone remembers Altered Beast, they probably exactly know what I'm thinking. Power up. Rise from your grave.
Watch what you can do. First off, watch what happened to this guy's pack. It's gone. Where'd the pack go? We don't know. Maybe she took it off, but it's just not there.
Deflated.
Yeah.
I'm pushing forward!
I like the way how they telegraph their own positions. Like, I'm Jim. I'm moving to the right. Okay, Bob. Thanks for that. Like, what?
Don't you guys have headsets? Come on, use them.
You people should know where you're going. It's like.
I have you covered.
Press the heal button. Okay. And his pack just materialized. Somehow, this giant pack just came out of nowhere. It was always there. It just never materialized until he started breathing again.
I just like the fact that that guy's obviously like pretty heavily injured, and she goes, "Yeah, okay, here's a shot to the chest, and heal yourself. By the way, I've got more important things to do." And he's like, "Help me, help me, someone!" It's like, no, you're fine now, mate. Crack on. I haven't got any. I'm not wasting my meds on you. It's not like it's going to be quicker or anything like that.
Limping along. Where the hell is this guy? Where's he going? He just left his crew. He's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
Hostile down. Time to go.
Shit.
I like the way that guy's like wearing what looks to be like almost bullet-resistant helmet, but yet his arms and chest is like completely. It's like you've got your large center of mass that is completely unprotected, but your head's all right. You know?
At least they are wearing helmets. I mean, they're smarter than us.
Well, I'm going under the assumption that these guys are doing a long-range reconnaissance mission, so you wouldn't be in heavy really. You go in as light as possible because you've got all the other stuff that you need to carry. Mobility is sometimes better than protection, or mobility is its own protection, I should say.
This is iPad. I always love that. I have my iPad. Playing Candy Crush, play some drones, you know.
Yeah, he's like playing the Angry Birds.
Right, so you got the carry a dude on your back sort of maneuver. It's always cool. Or civilian. I can't even see that CQC, it's too dark, so we'll just say it as a takedown and generic. Yeah, so he's removing a bullet from his body, it looked like. So again, very Metal Gear Solid 3-ish.
It's very Far Cry as well, like Far Cry 2 had
Yep.
that.
Always a cool mechanic. Yay. Okay, well, you know what? It wasn't that bad. It was okay. It was just little details were nitpicky over.
Yeah,
And
we're assholes.
yeah, like the things that they would have wanted to do, was it 2 years ago? Or
Yeah, Ubisoft probably told the dev team, like, no, you need to push something, or else this franchise is going to be put on ice. So Wildlands was probably booted out the door. before
yeah,
it was
but that
ready.
was the big thing. That was what they wanted to do or trying to do, and everyone was like, "What is this game? This is not exactly what we were expecting." And they went from 30 devs to 1,000. That's what blew my mind. How do you ramp up your dev team from 30 to 1,000? It just blows, like, how, like, what were you doing those 2 years that it's like, okay, we need another 10, we need another 20. You know what? I think we need another 500. It's like, what? Like, wait a second. How do you get to that point? So whatever they were working on, I mean, that's a lot of developers to do something. So they either have the game done in stages for gameplay, where you have like the CQC team. They're just doing close quarters combat. You're doing the armor, I don't know, mechanics to make it balanced or whatever. When you're trying to do bullets that can penetrate armor and enemies that have armor and armor you can wear. Then you have the RPG team. They do all the equipment, because equipment was a big part of the previous games where you had helmets and gear and whatever. So
Yeah.
what else do you need 1,000 developers for? They can't all be doing the same thing, so there's no way.
They're going to be using a lot of assets like animation, things like that. A lot of vehicles, things. I mean, others is probably going to be cosmetic, I reckon. They're just adding in some things. And
Yeah,
they
but
come up with
developers
that.
wouldn't be doing cosmetic things. They'd hire or pay designers to make all of the gear and the levels and any of the peripheral stuff, like
Well, I mean,
hats.
they'll still be using the same tool set, so
Sure.
you still have the same. But yeah, I mean, the co-op features look a bit light. Like the only one that we saw was the revive and the drag things. Well, not the drag, but the fireman's carry, really.
Yeah.
Um,
There is the idea of camping or having your own little makeshift base. They were talking about how they could have buffs, so you rest for an hour or 4 or whatever the time limit is, and you have like buffs to your team so they could do more damage or what have you. So there's some
Eat the snake, get poison ammunition.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly, but that idea is fine. This is nothing new. Again, there's nothing new we haven't seen here, but it's done in such a way that you don't have Power Ranger Bullet B dudes that can summon hornets from their bodies. You don't have teleporting ghosts. You don't have telekinetic flying men who could read your mind and all at your memory stick. None of that bullshit that Hideo Kojima was pretty much notorious for forcing to put into every one of his games just because he wanted to. So I think the Western world is not really catching up, but just sort of saying, okay, well, people are familiar with these mechanics. And Ghost Recon has sort of been not the de facto standard. I think SOCOM has been pretty good even back in the day for squad-based AI gameplay. So it's just the one that's been popularized. It's one that's been acceptable, and they're trying to add that to compete with the Far Cries and other styles of games. I could be wrong. I don't know, because I'm not really too much into these style of games, but I do appreciate when there's a level of detail that these creators are like, okay, we're going to make this better. We're going to do what we said we were going to do. So I like that.
I wonder if they're going to do a PvP and it's going to be similar to like Evolve, where you're going to have the hunters and then you have the, something like it's literally just going to be a kind of track this person. But from Evolve, obviously, it was just 50 minutes of hunters just running around going, yeah, this is fun. It's like.
Well, I remember there's an article on The Verge, or one, I think it was Kotaku, where they were saying that Ubisoft does all these political games, and why are they saying this even though they're not? It's like, you know what? They don't care. Just because there's a paramilitary group that's part of the government doesn't mean it's a political game. It just means there's happens to be a storyline with people from the military that are part of America. And there's no message. There's no like, nanomachines are bad, or information is under control of the strong and the rich. And it's like, yeah, okay. Like, there's no underlying theme like a Hideo Kojima game would have about war or genetics or whatever bullshit Metal Gear Solid 2 was. So there's none of that. It's just, hey, we're going to have a military simulation, and we're going to have some simulation for survival and sleeping and eating and healing yourself. That's it. And it's light. It's not purely realistic, but we appreciate the attempt. That's the beautiful, because we can see, oh yeah, I know this scenario. This sounds like one of my friends in the military would have talked about. And it's always that joke, like, okay, this is never believable. It's never 100%, but it's like 40% there. It's just like, it's all right. It's not horrible. It's a game.
I think, I think the way I tend to view these kind of games is that it's not necessarily a spectrum in terms of Arcadian realism. It's more like a triangle where you've got arcade on the left side, tactical on the other side, then you've got realism above. You're never going to reach realism because of just the control scheme itself. But sometimes the more tactical you can actually become, the more unrealistic it can actually become. Like, I remember playing SWAT 4, and the problem with that is just that your guys are so slow. Like, when you go through a door, you want to be like a shit for a goose. You want to be in through that door as quick, but these guys kind of like hobble in, like hoppity. It's like the most awkward. Like, I've just had 16 pounds of curry in my underpants level of awkward, and it's just really bad. But the reason why they did that was because if they had sped it too quickly, you would get through the levels too fast. And it's like, well, yeah, that's how you want to do these things. They should be quick. You don't want to be hanging around a door frame where every gun's going to be pointing at you.
I'm trying to remember that SWAT game that was announced. Was it last month?
Ready or Not?
Ready or Not. Yeah, like that was, I guess, more of a tactical view of how these sorts of games would play out. Like, you'd have all these people that would have certain ways of opening a door, and that was pretty much your kill zone. That is pretty much, you want to stay as far away from doors as possible. And once you're through a door, you just want to find a piece of cover as quickly as you can. So
there's actually if a bad guys are holed up in one area and you're in the entrance of the door, then you basically make a new entry. You blow a hole in the door, in the wall, which we do actually have. We do actually have safe means of blowing holes in walls. So it's like, if they're thinking, yeah, they're going to come for the door. Nope. Well, you
You're
did
going
what
to
the
make a door. So there, bad guys. Yeah.
I think what the Dutch did with one was it the Dutch who they had a hostage situation and they basically just rammed a vehicle through the wall and then just went through it. I mean, it worked.
That reminds me of, what was it, Naked Gun 1 or 2? I can't remember. It's like the guy's about to give up, and Frank just drives the frickin' tank right through.
Another thing as well is that when people like using flashbangs, we've had these flashbangs for ages, but the ones that you normally see in computer games, they go off once and they go like that. The ones that we have, you throw them and then they do a multi-detonator. So they go do 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 do. So, you know, there's no cover from it because it literally bounces around the room. Well, it dismounts, but makes a lot of noise.
And that's just the sound and light. That's not tear gas or any other kinds of chemical solutions that.
Yeah,
are-
most of them usually have an essence of CS in them as well to kind of just. So that's why guys would be like wearing the masks on and things like that.
Right. So hey, it was cool. I'm excited for the game. I don't know if I'll pick it up, but I'll wait for other people because I do have another few friends who play these games, and they watch them. I remember one time, I don't know if it was Ghost Recon or some other game where they released new weapons, and then everyone wants to try that new class with a new weapon. And I think one of them was like a silver rifle, and everyone was a sniper. It was a new silver rifle for a sniper. So you end up seeing all these guys in the brush wearing all camo, and it's just like these bushes running around with these big silver sticks just all the distance. It's like, oh, there they are. Okay. So that was like at least 7 years ago when updates were not too frequent. And when you have 1,000 developers, they're just going to be updating every day, if not
All right, that's
every-
a lot of.
every 2 hours at least. It's like, okay, new build 2.5, 2.6. Whoa, we just came out with 2.7.5. Like, okay, what do you got for us, guys? We redid the game.
Yeah.
It's 2 weeks old, but we just added more vehicles. We added 10 more drones. Like, what? Okay. So who knows what a team of 1,000 developers? They must have like cut every other development project that Ubisoft was working on. It's like, okay,
I don't know. Ubisoft is kind of notorious for having huge staff, really. Like I remember even the days when they did Ghost Recon Warfighter 1. That was like what, 2006? They had like 300 people working on that. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing, and I think a lot of that was actually Q&A. But and then you can think of Ubisoft, and you look at Assassin's Creed, and you kind of go like, did they really care about Q&A? We just need to hire people. Why? Because reasons. Tax break, I guess.
Oh wow! Can you imagine the the corporate tax on hiring that many people in a small company? It's like, what? You spent what on your manpower? Like that's like half your budget.
The president of Ubisoft must be like looking at the bill. He's like, "Who did this?" It's like, "Wait, could have been me. I could have been drunk." Oh no, Sacre bleu. I don't know if he's French or not.
A lot of a lot of weird developers, even the guys who do Divinity, are from Quebec. So they do a lot of. Well, the thing with Divinity too, I was just watching a 1 hour presentation of how they developed and what happened with the Kickstarter and how they spent all this time on story and narrative, and they wanted to integrate it, but they had a problem because you can choose to be a character from Divinity, and that would change the first person to third person perspective, so you have to rewrite all the dialogue and all these little details that they weren't expecting they had to do. And they had a team of 9 writers, and they were all using Google Docs, but they used the entire staff to write opinions, and then it was too chaotic, and everyone was like getting angry at each other, so they just cut it off to the 9 writers again. But even that was too bad, so then they cut it off to two writers, and then all of a sudden they found their sweet spot, so everything just gelled together. So the magic number, if you're writing a story, at least for a game that has multiple outcomes and multiple paths, is 2 for some reason. It just doesn't drive people nuts, doesn't kill each other, and you get work done, apparently. So Yeah, 1,000 developers. Whew.
I think people are waiting for the run to the chop joke because we made a Predator joke a few times. If you want to do that, I can't do an Arnie impression to save my life. So.
Kill me! I'm right here!
You know, that'd be a brilliant taunting animation. Let's say, for example, the Hunter Force is coming towards you and you pretend to surrender so that your other teammates can like get the drop on them. That'd be cool. I'd like that.
So people are chasing after you, and you're like play as a
Yeah, as a decoy, like, I surrender, that's it. And now it's turning around, and then your buddy comes around and just goes, just decks them, you know?
well, it's again, we don't know exactly how this is going to work out, but
Yeah, I'm just putting ideas now into other people's heads. So I don't want to be hyping people up.
yeah, because again, this looks pretty straightforward. Lots of simple mechanics that we've already seen before, and who knows? Co-op could be awesome. It could be a horrible idea. It's not too much of a break because it was in the previous game in Wildlands, and again, this is essentially Wildlands 2.0. So it's what you wanted, and then what you actually were supposed to get. So yeah, that's about it. Any other questions, guys? I think someone left me a super chat. I don't know if I picked up on it, but it was essentially telling me that this is not EFAP. That's true. We're not Mahler and crew. We're not as robust and long as they can go. We try to be long, but not too long. We're not that crazy when it comes to talking about gameplay and stories. Take it easy. Have a nice, relaxing weekend. And it's a long weekend here in Canada, so we have Mondays off. So take it easy, guys. I'll keep doing my KOTOR analysis. I think I'm almost done. I think I have another video or two to go through. And then we're going to be jumping into some other plot analysis, and we'll be doing a survey to find out what that is. So, thanks guys for listening, and we will see you next week.